humans, it is a gloomy November 22nd, 6 degrees Celsius. It is 11:22 in the morning. And this November 22nd also happens to be the 60th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Just a little factoid there, but we're on Yonge Street, just approaching Richmond Street, and I'm going to be taking a walk east along Richmond and around a bit of the east side of downtown. It was raining all yesterday and into this morning, and it has stopped for now. But it might not yet be over. I do have my umbrella on me just in case. And the usual road work underway all around downtown. And I think the plan is to end up at a grocery store on the east side of downtown. There are a number of different grocery stores where I could find my way to. I haven't decided which one yet. So I thought I'd just sort of zig and zag and walk around haphazardly here on the east side of downtown on this very gloomy day. Yesterday I think was even gloomier since it was raining the entire day. So this is a bit of an improvement. There's Victoria Street.
Thank you very much, Mary, for your help. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
I guess it's approaching the lunch hour. I'm not sure if that's why there's so much traffic on Richmond Street, or maybe it's backed up due to the road work I was referring to. Downtown has been plagued by gridlock for months now due to various construction projects on major downtown streets, such as Queen and Adelaide. Here's one of those streets that you don't even really notice has a name. It's called Bertie Street, B-E-R-T-I. Or Bertie. It's literally one short block long. And I see this project is a couple stories above ground now. It will eventually be a skyscraper, around 50 stories or so, or maybe upper 40s, 46, 47 stories. The old McVeigh's Irish pub. That building, I think, refused to be bought out by the developer, and I'm glad of that. I think it's a very charming building with a lot of character, and that pub is a bit of a landmark business in the neighborhood. It's crossing Church Street. And there's the 501 Queen coming up Church Street. Due to all that construction I was referring to, the streetcars have been rerouted on various streets. And eventually they'll be running along Adelaide once the work is done upgrading the streetcar tracks on Adelaide, which had been sitting there unused for decades and had become basically no longer in good enough condition for streetcars. So all those streetcar tracks are getting upgraded on Adelaide. And we'll soon be seeing streetcar service back there again for the first time in who knows how long. I'm sure somebody knows. So if you ride the 501 Queen, you get a bit of a scenic route now, going up Church. It might be going all the way up to Dundas. And then continuing west along Dundas. Or east, depending on which way it's going. Here's an old building. Looks like an old Georgian building that has been sort of surrounded by more recent buildings on either side. Although these are fairly old also. Richmond Street is lined with these old brick buildings for much of its length on the east side of downtown. And we're coming up onto Jarvis Street. So maybe I'll continue east along Richmond for a bit longer. There's a handy dandy wayfinder to let you know what is what in the area. Corktown to the east, Financial District to the west, St. Lawrence Market neighborhood and the market itself to the south, as is St. James Park, St. Lawrence Hall, and the Garden District to the north. That's where I live. And this new building is close to topping out, I think. It's towering over the whole area now. That's more than 50 stories when all is said and done. We'll soon have some neighbors just as tall. And one of the last remaining gas stations in downtown Toronto, and more specifically one of the last on the east side of downtown. Not sure what they're doing there. They seem to be pilfering a suitcase. I wonder if that suitcase belongs to them. Something tells me probably not. And this old warehouse building has been reinforced with these supports, leaving just the facades because a tower will be rising up on that site now, with the old warehouse acting as a historic base to the new tower. And here's George Street. And the George Street Diner, another landmark of the area. At some point I'm going to get off of Richmond Street. Some interesting alleyways. If I see one that looks suitable, maybe I'll walk through it. Stonecutter's Lane, I've always enjoyed the name of this one. I think that leads over to Britton Street. Here's Sherbourne. Queen and Sherbourne is just a block to the north. Infamous intersection on the east side of downtown. Another alley. I'm kind of keeping my eye out for a good alley to walk through. I don't know if I'll come across one or not. Here's another project similar to the one that I showed a couple of minutes ago, where they reinforced the old facades of these historic buildings, making way for some new towers. I guess that's the bike lane, and this is the people lane. Although that person is walking in the bike lane, but I don't see any people coming on two wheels. There are quite a few tall towers that are going to be making their way into the skyline here on the east side of downtown. Up there is the Moss Park Apartments. The Moss Park neighborhood. I'm not sure if this building has any development proposed. I guess it's as is for now. Here's Berkeley Street. So let's get off of Richmond Street here. The next street up is Parliament, I believe, though. We'll probably end up on Parliament at some point, though. Let's do a little exploring here on these more minor side streets. Quite fond of this building. I've pointed out in previous videos. It's a nice mix of historic and modern. And popping out onto Queen Street here. Maybe I'll walk straight through the Moss Park apartment complex here. There's a Lageese down Queen. See the headquarters of the Globe and Mail newspaper off in the distance. These are the Moss Park apartments. This has always been considered kind of a rough neighborhood here. Old 1960s era projects. Regent Park used to be similar to this, but it has undergone a complete redevelopment in the last 15 years, and it doesn't look anything like this anymore. At one time it did, though. These old 1960s era apartment buildings, and some going back to the late 1940s, as a matter of fact. On Shooter Street. We will be on Shooter Street in a moment. All right, we're going to cross. I think there's a Strally up ahead, which is what I call a street that looks like an alley, or an alley that looks like a street. Sort of a hybrid street and alley all in one. Poulette Street. It has a street name, but it looks a lot like an alley, as we'll see. We're walking north now, parallel to Parliament Street, which is just immediately to the east on the other side of these buildings. These are the backs of the buildings that front onto Parliament Street, or some of them anyway. There are a few dedicated homes here on both sides of Poulette Street, even though it looks like an alley along much of its length. And a new development is getting underway here. I believe they've just recently demolished an old building on Parliament. I think that'll be a mid-rise residential building. Like these townhomes obviously are meant to be part of Paulette Street on this side, but this looks like the back side of a building to me with this garage here. But it does have a door there and a mailbox. So this alley goes to Parliament. Let's just take a quick little tour back to the west. I haven't walked down these alleys in quite a long time. I have once before, I think. I don't think this one has a name, though. I didn't see one. Here's another street that looks a bit like an alley. Strally, that's right. Let's make it happen. Coatsworth Street. That's what this is called. I don't know if it was the same name the whole time or just this section. Doesn't look like a street at all. This looks like a 100% alley. Nighthawk Lane. Definitely a laneway there. You have all the garages backing into it behind the homes. Alright, let's head over to Dundas. It does continue on for one more section, as you can see. But I think I've decided on which grocery store I'm going to head to, and it's the Fresh Co. at Parliament and Dundas. So here's Dundas. Is there an alley I can take on the north side of Dundas that will take me up to Parliament? I'm not too sure. Let me cross here and I'll just take a peek. I don't think so. Well, what is this one here? Callahan. Callahan Lane. Maybe that will take us over to Parliament. Looks like we lucked out. Kind of a interesting old apartment building. The side streets are very charming all throughout this part of the east side here. All right, let's walk down Callahan Lane over to Parliament. And I see my shoe has become untied. I'll just leave it until I wrap up the video. Just another minute or two. Calgie Lane, another one. I don't think I've walked down this one before. I don't even think I've walked along this part of Callahan Lane before, actually. Still plenty of leaves on some of these trees, and some of them are still pretty green, unbelievably. But there's also plenty of completely bare trees as well. This one is refusing to give up its leaves. It's almost December. Heads Lane. That's a strange name. Did they know I was coming? I don't have anything. Thanks for the warm welcome, though. No. See, I was going to walk around them, but no. And here's Parliament. And Dundas right there again, and the Freshco right across the street. So I'm going to start to wrap up this walk. Hope you enjoyed the downtown Eastside gloomy day, late November walk along Richmond Street, starting from Yonge, heading east, and then going up and down a bunch of strallies and alleys. So if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a comment down below. Or if you didn't enjoy, a comment is good either way. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal or via my merch store. And you can also become a channel member or send a super thanks if you wish. And you can find me on Instagram under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.